It's been a rough stretch drive for the Detroit Red Wings as they battle for playoff position. Brian Fisher of Locked On Red Wings is here to talk about their struggles and what it'll take for them to make the playoffs this year. Coming up next on today's Locked On NHL Podcast.
You're Locked On NHL, your daily podcast on the National Hockey League. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Gil Martin here. Welcome, everybody, to the Monday edition of the Locked On NHL Podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And I want to welcome to the show the co-host of Locked On Red Wings, Brian Fisher. And Brian, it's been a struggle down the stretch for the Red Wings. What's gone wrong for this team? Why are they having such trouble finishing what started off as a pretty successful season?
This last week and a half, I mean, it's been just about a little bit of everything. You can imagine, if they lose every game a little bit differently, it feels. Philadelphia was an absolute dud where they were just physically overmatched and they looked like they were disinterested in that hockey game. And I know they're not disinterested. I actually do know that they are pissed off about how that game ended and how their performance was. But by watching the game, it doesn't feel like that. You don't get the desperation that they should have. You could look at any game and point for a different reason. But I mean, the two main reasons why they're struggling right now is, one, they're not healthy. Dylan Larkin's battling through a knee injury. Andrew Kopp is battling through a knee injury. Lucas Raymond's been battling a shoulder injury all season long, and there's been a lot of speculation about how healthy he has been all season long. Simon Edvinsson had knee surgery right before the Olympic break. So that most of their best players are playing somewhat injured and beneath 100%. And the other problem is this team can't score goals. They can't. Regardless of effort, regardless of performance, they just really don't score. They scored 5 against Calgary, and they scored 5 against Buffalo on Friday, which was a really good win. But overall, they're one of the worst goal-scoring teams at 5-on-5 in the league, bottom 2 or 3.
So who needs to step up in these last 9 or 10 games in order for this team to get to the postseason for the first time in far too long?
I think it'd be easier to tell you who doesn't have to stand up or step up rather, because there's only a few guys on this team on a night in, night out basis that are not the problem. And that's John Gibson in net, who had a rough game against Philly, but he started back-to-back nights. He's been one of, if not the best goalie in the NHL since December 1st. Alex DeBrincat is on pace, and his next point will be a career high point total for him. And he'll finish over 80 points for the first time in his career this season. He has been the best player for the Red Wings, and he's really stepped up for them after the Larkin injury. He has 3 3-point nights in the last 6 games, I believe it is. He's been phenomenal. And then Moritz Seider on the back end should be getting serious Norris Trophy candidacy in this offseason, as he has set himself a career high while still in points, while still being the best workhorse. Everybody else on this team isn't doing enough. I think Raymond and Kane have been passable, but this bottom 6 doesn't provide any goals. The bottom 2 pairings, not having been a train wreck, also aren't providing enough. It's just there's 3 guys on this team who, on a night in, night out basis, are doing enough, and the rest of the team just is not.
What's been going on with the penalty kill? I mean, they're 24th in the league right now. Has this been an issue all year, or is this just more recent?
Is the penalty kill really 24th in the league? I tell you that I do not know that, and I say that because the emphasis right now has been so much more on the power play. I know overall the power play is middle of the pack, but their power play has been one of the worst power plays in the league since the new year. And the penalty kill feels like it's been okay. They did allow 2 penalty kill goals, 2 power play goals against the Philadelphia Flyers, I believe. The PK, it is what it is. I mean, you take a lot of bad penalties, you're going to be put in bad positions, and the team, because of the fact that they struggle to score goals, they struggle to score goals because they don't have the puck a lot. And when you don't have the puck a lot, you're defending a lot. And when you defend a lot, you take bad penalties when you get tired. And that's really what's been going on with the PK. It's not necessarily the PK itself, but it's a branch off of how they've been performing at 5-on-5, which is not good enough. The power play because they haven't been scoring, they need to score on the power play, and they haven't been doing that either. It's like just a little bit of everything right now, Gil. They are not completely collapsing. They're playing .500 really down the stretch. They win one, they lose one. But it's not good enough with how this Atlantic Division and how this Eastern Conference is playing right now.
So what do they have to do? Is there any realistic window for this team to finish strong and make the postseason?
Is there a window? Yes. Is it realistic? Hope is dwindling. We've seen this story before. I was telling you before we hit record that Todd McClellan said at the start of March that he's tired of hearing about March questions because they have collapsed in years past, and that this team has an opportunity to write their own story, and then that story just happened to be the same story we've read the last 2 years. With the pace at which the rest of the Eastern Conference is playing, the Red Wings are probably going to finish with the highest point total of the Eiserman era in the mid-90s and going to miss the playoffs without a first-round pick to draft from in the process. So what they got to do is they got to find a way to get the puck on net, and then go for the rebound. Because really, if you want to pinpoint the pain point for this team's lack of offense, is that they love to play on the perimeter. They cannot get that puck to the middle of the offensive zone. I mean, you see it with Moritz Seider. He's taking 1,000 shots a game, but every single shot he takes is just a rebound clear, because nobody's getting to the net, nobody's taking the eyes of the goalie, and nobody's redirecting the puck. That's their biggest problem on offense, is that they get the puck deep, they don't win the puck battle, so it comes back out, or if they do, they can't get it off the boards towards the middle of the ice.
Is that a lack of skill or a lack of will?
I don't think it's a lack of will. I think it's a lack of execution. Because I know, that's the thing is, despite how they played against Philly, like this team's give a crap meter is high. They know what's happened in years past, and of course they want to make the playoffs, but they just can't seem, it's almost like, are they gripping their sticks too tight? Like they know what they got to do, but they just can't seem to make it happen. And when it works well. But they struggle to be the first man to the puck when they dump, because they do a lot of dump and chase. They want to get the forecheck going, get the puck deep, get to the puck in the corner, be the first guy there, win the puck battle, get the puck to the middle. They just stink at it most of the time, it feels like. And when it works great. And it was working really, ironically, the start of the season, they were doing it really well and weren't getting rewarded for it. Then John Gibson got on fire and they were winning games, not scoring a lot of goals, and that's when you saw the Red Wings climb the standings with their goal differential being so low, or in the negatives as it is now. But they unless they're playing like a really good game like they did against Buffalo, but it feels like more times than not, they're not winning that race, they're not winning that board battle, and they're not getting the puck to the middle to take the eyes away of the goalie, screen the goalie, redirect the puck, get the rebound, so on and so forth. It feels like they're always just a step behind.
This is year 7 of the Yzer plan. If they don't make the playoffs, is he safe?
Yeah. And that's going to be an answer fans don't like, and it's just reality. And I'm with fans for the most part where his seat's got to be hot, right? But it's not. And, you and I discussed it a little bit ahead of the hitting record, in that this ownership group makes a lot of money. And Sean Shapiro of Elite Prospects wrote a great article about it on his personal blog earlier this week, that this ownership group doesn't need the team to make the playoffs to make money. And so there's not pressure on the ownership group, or likely isn't pressure from the ownership group on Steve Yzerman to make the playoffs just to get that playoff revenue. They're okay with taking, leaning back in their seat and letting franchise legend Steve Yzerman do what it takes to make this a Stanley Cup team, because that's the goal, right? Like, playoff appearances are nice, but you want a Stanley Cup, and that's kind of how it's viewed. So I don't think there's any heat on Steve Yzerman yet from ownership. Fans, we're pretty rowdy. We've talked a lot about the hand Eiserman was dealt, and that is all valid. The terrible cap structure he was given when he took over, nothing in the cabinet prospects-wise, and then going into a rebuild, they were screwed by the draft lottery and a flat cap because of COVID. There was a lot for Eiserman to drag this team out of, and he's done a fairly good job of it when you look at his draft picks. But since then, he hasn't done necessarily what's necessary to get the team over the hump. He's kind of hoarding his prospects a little bit too much, and he's afraid to take big swings in the draft. Seider was considered a swing. That worked out great. But the other 2 swings he's taken in the draft, he only did because the Red Wings had first-round picks in that time. 2 first-round picks in each of those drafts. So he now, to get this team over the hump, I feel has to get more aggressive. And he showed a sign of that at the trade deadline. And then Larkin got hurt, which is just terrible timing. That's a big part of this collapse, too. It's just terrible timing with injuries.
Going to be an interesting stretch drive and an interesting offseason in Detroit. Brian, why don't you tell our viewers and our listeners where they could find the podcast and where they could find you on social media?
You can find Locked On Red Wings anywhere you listen to your podcast. That includes on YouTube. You can find us on socials at LO_Red Wings. You could find me on socials at BWFisher2 and Scotty over on socials at that's LO_Red Wings. He's at Bentley Scotty himself. So that's where you can find us.
All right. Brian, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
What if sports were traded like markets? Now you could put your sports IQ to work in real time with Robinhood Prediction Markets. It's not you against the house. It's you participating in a live market where you can buy or sell your positions live all game long. Use your sports knowledge in the moments that matter. Robinhood Prediction Markets changes the game. It's people moving the action. So when momentum shifts, you can move with it. I always knew the game, but never had a dynamic way to apply that knowledge. Now I could actually take part live in a market powered by people. You're no longer just a spectator. Play by play, you decide. So trade every play with Robinhood, now available across the U.S. Download the Robinhood app now to begin. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk. It is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm.